here. Gonna come back over here. Gonna pop out that chat because you know that's what we gotta do. Gotta get that chat a poppin'. Join that over there. Go back to this. Click on that. And welcome. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another wonderful live stream for Rookzer0, who is me. Go back to the artwork over there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's close that down. Get this all set up. Welcome. Good morning. How is everybody today? I hope everybody's doing all right. Yeah, no problem. Bri, welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am back to doing push-ups today, which maybe I need to explain that. So today we're kind of back in the grand scheme of things. I'm working on a few different projects, but today we're going to be doing some doodling and some sketching, probably talking about D&D. The wonderful bride just tipped me $20, so I'm going to get back into my Operation Health mode. I have my water right here. Water. And I'm going to do push-ups every time people tip me, so it's going to be fun. Push-ups or equivalent. Whatever the equivalent is for that. So that's going to be good. I'm going to set up some challenges for myself. What? Yes, I did do the push-ups from yesterday. Ooh. After the stream, because I had forgotten. I only did like half of them on stream. I had to do the other half. But yeah, so I'm going to set up some challenges for myself while I'm drawing. If you have ideas for that, let me know, because that could be fun. One of them right now is if I draw a skull. I have to do... Yep. Or if I misclassify the race of a creature I'm drawing. I have to do push-ups. I'm going to try to get a better workout in here, so I'm probably going to be lifting some weights. I'd like to get a pull-up bar. That could be fun. But that's in the future. We'll get that going. Whew. Good way to wake up the day. Draw a big oil plate of spaghetti. You just start. Anything D&D themed today? Yeah, that's the question. So I was thinking about starting to design the Barrington Ale logo. There's a couple different options for that. Could be kind of fun. I just got a new filter for my microphone, so let me know how that goes. Hopefully that'll cut down on some of the whooshing from my computer fans or the squeaking from my chair. But we're using the Aggie.io software today. There's a free online web browser based thing. Hashtag not sponsored, but we're using it because it's free. So you sound like a crisp winter morning. Thank you, Garlic. Welcome, David. Once again, thank you, Bri. He hopes everybody's doing wonderful today. So I'm glad we can do that. Let's get that going. So yeah, we're gonna fiddle around in Aggie today. Sure. Jonas, who is usually drawing with me today, is playing a video game, so that's where he is. Might join us a bit later. If you are a Patreon member or you want to become a Patreon member, that would give you access to the Patreon-only selection in the Discord. If you're not a member of Discord, feel free to join the Discord. No strings attached there. If you do become a Patreon member, you are welcome to jump into the Aggie.io software with us and da-da-da-da-da. Doodle-doodle-doodle. So, here we go. Jonas will judge everybody, and he said I won't judge you either, so... Or I won't judge you, but Jonas will. So I think we're just gonna do some quick sketches today because I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. I think I want to do something kind of classical. Barrington Ale. Kind of the idea behind this was the way I retired one of my characters. Maybe I shouldn't tell the secret story behind the Barrington Ale. Yeah, I might keep it for later. when I get 10,000 subs, we'll talk about the backstory behind Barrington Ale and the reason it's in all of my campaigns. It's probably not too hard to figure out, to be totally honest, but but yeah, so I have a lot of different options to do with this today. I kind of like the idea of sketching out small things for your campaigns, like the signs. I saw a polar bear. What did I miss? Where are technically not here? I am not. Technically not. Oh, yeah, because not says not to listen to him. That's a good question. I don't know where not is today. Yeah, we haven't gotten anywhere yet. I'm just drawing the Barrington Ale logo, or thinking about it. But there are a lot of fun options for this. I like the idea. Of drawing kind of small things for your D&D worlds. And by that, I mean like the signposts to the inn that your players are going to stay at all the time. Or if you have a local magic shop that they go to all the time. Anyone playing a scrap mechanic? Is that a class? Or just like flavorfully all over the place? Not is all over the place. Yeah, so like finding little tiny like graphical elements that can be placed in your world, I think is a really fun way to kind of liven up the immersion for your players. I really like through a lot of the Pathfinder campaigns, like you find notes and journals and things, and it's always fun to print off 1 or 2 pages of those and print them out and give them to people. You'd be surprised how much a red ink or a red wax stamp can really make things pop for a game. So is Rick specifically drawing something today? Oh, do I have my mic turned off? Are we going? We're good? Okay. How's everybody over here? Can we hear me on YouTube? We can hear you. Okay, cool. Am I just drawing whatever I want? Yeah, if I'm quiet, let me know. I'm still testing the audio and stuff. So, interesting. Not cannot hear me today. That's hello, Rook. I don't think I'm muted. Let's test back here. How's that? Is that better? Can people hear me now? I can hear you. So Goldtooth can hear me. Oh, you can. Okay. Come on, not jeez. No, I'm going to draw some bear stuff today, but I'm going to draw some bear stuff today because I basically want to design some graphical elements for my universe. Including the Barrington Ale logo. I'm going to go do a few different little like quick sketches for that, and then I'll probably actually make that. The joke was I couldn't write that unless I couldn't hear the question. I gotcha. Touche. All right, Jonas, we'll be back in a minute. But yeah, so we're going to be doing some quick sketches, and then I will probably vectorize these if I find one that I like. So that's kind of my plan. I'm actually not sure exactly how I want to do this, because I've described it a few different ways, and I think that's kind of the beauty of D&D is that I can constantly change the universe. So maybe putting something to paper is a bad idea, but we'll find out. We will find out. Hope everybody's D&D games have been going well. I know there's a lot of places that are, what are the grumps calling it? The people are allowed to do stuff now that the Backstreet Boys concert is canceled. Yeah, the reunion tour. I think it's good for adding consistency to things. I like a logo or an item. Yeah, logos or items I think are a lot of fun. So. Well, that is pretty weird. Yeah, things that would represent things in D&D, whether it's the Scarlet Crusade from WoW, that'd be a good one to get an emblem for. Okay, that's a little weird. Those are paladins. Divine warlocks are paladins. I'm just putting that out there. Gotcha. Why does he look so grumpy? I have a sneaking suspicion that all bears are grumpy. Because they can't get that honey. They can't get those sweet tender victuals. Yeah, I don't remember what they're called. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of that's the fun thing about the Scarlet Crusade is that they're kind of, I don't know if they know what they're doing in the World of Warcraft. That's fair. Is that true though? Like, didn't Arthur start losing his crap after he murdered everybody? Goldtooth, thank you. Well, if we're drawing bears, here's why not use the Skyrim bear riding atop a dragon. I think the Scarlet Crusade's cool thing. Yeah, we could take some minutes to draw a Dova bear. Dova bear riding a dragon. I do need to do some curls real quick though. So hold on a second. Adobe bears. Got the good old 20-pound weights. Trying real hard to get back into a healthy lifestyle. It's not easy. I'm constantly curious about people that just like jump into the stream and hear me like doing push-ups. Like, what's he doing? Why is he working out in an audio medium? Whew. Okay. All right, we're gonna do some. We'll switch over and we'll do a little Dova bear dragon. Let's see if I can. That could actually be a cool a cool logo design. A bear riding a dragon. Yeah, getting swole ASMR. That's pretty good. Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I don't think I'm ever gonna look like Arnold. Yeah, that's a job in itself. Yeah, I used to work out. At least, I think we did at least an hour a day. But yeah, I mean, if you're a professional bodybuilder, you're doing some very specific stuff. But no, yeah, I used to wake up, go to the gym for a few hours, come home, play World of Warcraft for like 8 hours, go to work. Yep, that was my life. That was my life for a while. Stay up till 3 in the morning and rinse and repeat. Okay, and then we just need a bear. A little Dova bear. I can't remember how the Dova bear, I think, is just really, really triangular. Like everything about him is kind of jaggedy. And then he's got the derp eyes. Burp. It's a legit stuffed teddy bear that looks like Donald Trump with an American flag stuck. What? Speaking of bears, has anyone seen the new Donald Trump bear? No, I have not. That's crazy. Gross. All right. Here's the reference I'm going to use for this picture. Oh, it's such a good video. Oh, I was wrong. He's just a big water droplet. I didn't hear you say hi, but I was listening to Dova Bear screaming in my ear, so I might not have heard you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Like, I can find the video right now. I'm posting in Discord for people to watch real quick. It's ridiculous. Okay, yeah, Goldtooth can post that if you like. I'm going to try to get this Dova Bear drawn. Boop. Blur. Gotta get those ears. And the helmet. Actually, does the helmet go over the face? I need Dova Bear too. Oh man, he just murders a bunch of dudes in that second episode. I suppose so. I mean, like, I'm not, like, judging the bear for murdering people. I'm just saying, like, wasn't expecting the random murder all of a sudden. But, I mean, he's a giant bear wearing armor. I assume people got scared. Yep. Accidentally bumped into a chicken. Had to kill everybody. Have you seen my father? Nope. He's definitely not in the lake. That's probably not where he is. It's always you kill the blacksmith on accident because you're smithing things, and then you shoot a fireball and it kills somebody. And then you have to kill the blacksmith, and then his wife's like, "What's going on?" So you have to kill her, and then the kids are like, "Hey," and you're like, "Oh, I can't kill you." Because Bethesda's, trying to be politically correct about that kind of thing. So then you have to like lock them in the house and just become their impromptu parents. And they're just like, "Where's my family?" And it's like, I die. There's a limit. You can murder as many people as you want as long as they're not kids. It's just not acceptable. But little girl vampire is probably like 3,000 years old if anime has taught me anything. So technically not the same thing. But I'm not really upset that you can't murder the kids. I'm just upset that you kind of have to clean up all the murder mystery that you do in Skyrim. Maybe that was just my problem, that I accidentally kept killing people. Yep, Skyrim, not cool. All right, derp bear, derp dragon. Bard Warlock? Yeah, I think so. Basically gives you access to some good spells and really nice cantrip damage. So bards are kind of missing cantrip damage, so that's kind of good. Put it in meme chat. This is nothing but memes. I'll take a look at this real quick, Gold Tooth. Let's take a look at the meme chat. Is that actually an official commercial, or is it like... No, it's fake. Okay. That's pretty funny. That's got to be fake. I hope it's fake. Can you use the Wabajack on the children? I haven't played the game in so long, I can't remember. I don't know. There's a weird looking staff. Yeah, you know, it's been a long time since I played Skyrim, and I didn't play it that much. do. Collecting all the bagels? Is that a thing you can do in Skyrim? That's funny. Okay, let's give this Doba Bear a nice little sword. Just like a boo. There you go. Dova Bear riding a dragon of some kind. Dragon. In a weird, sketchy mood today. God damn it! Not in your weird segues. I still preferred Oblivion to Skyrim. You know what? I was a big arena arena fan. Played that game a lot. There was a gambling aspect to that game, though. That's pretty weird. Like, I'm surprised. There's been a lot of them, and they've been around for a long time. Yeah, all of them have been PC releases, so... I mean, they've been on consoles, too, but... I think I've played... Like, the original Arena came out, what, like... Yeah, I'm pretty sure Arena came out before most people were born, so that's fine. Elder Scrolls Arena. It was, yeah. Came out in 94. On MS-DOS. Oh, such a good game. Such a good game. I think I still have the discs for that somewhere. The little floppy discs. So good. So good, that game. I was a year old in 1994. There you go, yeah. Oh, there you go. -5. Hey, you know, you gotta be the age you are, otherwise it wouldn't work that way. So still a super good game. All my floppy disks, yeah. I actually all of my AOL and American Online. That's what AOL stands for. What am I saying? What the hell were they? The discs they used to send you in the mail. Like, here's 200 free hours of the internet. All of those became coasters for me. All the CDs. I think all of my floppy disks are probably still in a box somewhere. I had a brief moment where, like, how do you not know what a coaster is? And then I'm like, oh yes, English language, got it. Took me a second. Coasters were actually invented to keep bugs out of your drinks, which is kind of interesting. But, yeah. Now they're used to prevent you from ruining a table. Hey. What is Helo's asking how about? How they keep bugs out of your drinks? Yeah. They were just originally designed as things to put on top of your beer so that the flies didn't fly into your go for a swim in your sweet beer. And then people discovered that that putting used pieces of wood on top of your beer makes you sick, so they didn't do that as often. Yeah, this is a weird little bar trivia there. Yeah, and now they put them underneath. But you can still do that. I mean, that's why they're disposable now. They give you a clean one. They're supposed to give you a clean one. If your bar doesn't give you a clean coaster, yell at them. Mental meltdown. Yeah, or leave. Just be like, can I have a clean coaster, please? But yeah, if you're outside, get a little cardboard coaster, put that on top. No bugs in your drink. Not this guy, that's for sure. Definitely doesn't go outside. There we go. This is what I needed. Papa! Technically, a true dragon walks on 4 legs, wings on back. Drakes and wyverns have their wings connected. Blah 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 blah. And technically, whatever. Yeah, my answer about that is I don't care. Dragons are dragons, and dragons do what dragons do. What was the thing? Drakes all claim to be dragons until the dragons show up. I think is the magic card quote. That's good enough for me. I twitch. Apparently Hegos is having a coaster conundrum. How's your painting coming? Not? Did you finish it up? I spent like an hour and a half yesterday drawing hair for the new video. I was like, I'm gonna finish this up today. It's gonna be great. And then I just drew hair for like an hour, and I was like, damn it. So little bummer. I'm really... That's good. That's good. It's always nice to finish something sooner than you thought it would happen. It's always a bummer when things take longer. What if this dragon has, like, I don't know, people hands? That's something that would probably annoy people. Why am I trolling people that like dragons? That's not something I normally do. I'm in a weird mood today. I don't want to trigger people on the internet, but I really want to draw this dragon with people hands. Yeah. This one arm is super buff. Yeah. It's a really, really beefy arm. Boom. Someone in Skyrim or other games like that you're not killing dragons and you're like killing wyverns. It's all because other people so much that they wish the creatures were real. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think there's a lot of upsetness that happens with fantasy worlds. I think there's definitely, don't be a dick about it, but if the game is designed about killing dragons that you've created, maybe don't play the game if you don't like it. But I think dragons are, traditionally large beasts, and whether or not you have to slay them is kind of a cultural thing. Plus, it also, if you're making the dragons and you're just making dragons that are really nice and awesome, and then you have to kill them anyways, that's a little weird. Maybe don't do that as developers, but if you wanted to pick dragon as huge, horrible monsters that eat towns, I'm okay with slaying them. That's fine with me. I think there's a limit you can put on those of like, how many towns have you slain? Okay, that's a slaying. That definitely accounts for maybe one or two. Okay, let's get rid of the baby arms. I'm done with the baby arms now. Now I'm gonna put like I just drew like a really weird version of Trogdor is what I've done. I've got the Dova Bear riding Trogdor. Trogdor! I don't know if it's you. It's you or Drow. Either you or Drow are breathing pretty heavily into the mic. I'll have to look. I'll watch it. Okay. So now we have to justify a cow-killing human that enslaves them from the farm field. Yeah. I think that's one way to look at it. Yeah, basically, let's see what we got. Dragon comments are being restrained. Amphithin, worm, lindworm, lung dragon. It's fixed itself, so I don't know who was breathing, but someone was breathing. This is an interesting cycle of dragons. I also think, yeah, I don't know. I'm a person of. I'm not super picky about logistics of dragons. I feel like most things could probably be classified as a dragon and be done with it. I think no, I think it's fine. I think it's fine to make lists like this. I think it's fine to try to classify things. Like I like monster manuals. I think those are really cool. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. You like the like I like these kind of things, and I'm okay with. Like I said, I really like the monster manuals. Those are super good. And if I ever design my own monster manual, I'd probably have to make my own classification. But the way I think the thing to do about it with these specifically is like you can define something for like one-time use. Right? Like here are the dragons for my game or my universe when I'm talking about things. And if other people talk about it, I can't enforce my dragon rules on your stuff. Now, that being said, if dragons all of a sudden appear in the world and they're like, hey, asshole, I'm a drake. It's like, okay, I'm sorry. Now we have to start paying attention. So until a dragon shows up and tells me what they are, I can classify them however I want, I think. And I think that's kind of the important thing. Like, it's okay if you want to call all dragons drakes in your books, do it. Like, that's totally legit, I think. Because really, it's all down to colloquialism and agreed upon shenanigans. Language is weird. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I've just drawn this weird Trogdor dragon with a bear on top. And I'm arguing the semantics of types of dragons. What kind of dragon is this? Let's see. Let's go by the chart. It's got 2 arms. It's got little wings on its back. What is an amphitheater? I've never heard of that word before. Is that a thing? Amphitheater. The theatrical dragons. Ah, Caesar. I should have made a Hamlet joke. That would have been better. But they're like snakes with wings. Okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. It had 6 baby arms like 4 minutes ago, so I think we're good to just say I've created a new species of dragon. But either way, all right. I'm gonna go back to drawing bears because I can draw bears. Boop, Beargans. I also need to draw rugby, but with some other stuff. Is actually a new way of saying I should have said this, but very possibly. Very, very possibly. What's the best race for a warlock bard? Ooh, a warlock bard satyr would be pretty good. I would think a like a merfolk would be a pretty good warlock bard, because you can like siren song people into the water and then sacrifice them to your inky god. I think that would be pretty dope. But not all warlocks have to have sacrificing components, but it's a good start. It is mermaid. It is also mermaid. Oh yeah, no, the trends are really dumb, but I like the idea. Like no shave November, that's fun. I still shave every November. I guess yeah. Or wait, is that what it is? I know what you're talking about. I think you can say. I think you can say. Yeah. I think you can say that on YouTube too. But whatever. Whatever. But yeah, so I like that they exist because I like seeing the content people create. But like Inktober every year, there's like the official Inktober prompt list, and then it's like I'm just gonna draw with a pen all month. Like that's all I'm gonna do. Like I'm not investing my time into following all the prompts. I think if you need the prompts or you like the prompts, because some people really like having those, that's great. And if it's making you do art, super great. But I like it. You say Ember? You're gonna name him Ember? Nice. And then you should probably go like within a Freet. I think that would be pretty cool. Oh, please choose half. Okay. Yep. Nope. You chose wrong. That's bad. I don't want to tell you that you're making your D&D character wrong, but you know, you're making your D&D character wrong. You need to. Yep. You didn't pick Merfolk. You didn't. Is a Triton actually a race in D&D? What? What? How did I not know that? Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm still confused about the whole dyslexic can't play D&D thing, because I think that's a cop out. Maybe you can't. I mean, if you struggle playing D&D with like because you have dyslexia, I understand that. But like not being able to do it, I think means maybe you don't want to do it. See, that could be really tough. Playing a spellcasting class with a struggle to read could be really difficult. Yeah, and I can see that, like, slowing the game down. I understand that, but like I still think it's worth the effort. I mean, like it's definitely worth playing. A lot of the times when I played D&D originally, I didn't have any of the books. It was just we had a book that the DM was using. And so everything was explained to us. And when we had spells, it was very much like, okay, I'm going to tell you what the spell does. Write it down so that you know what you have. And so my notes were literally like fireball, 5 damage, 30 feet. That was it. That's all I had. And so I think it's to say that you can't play something because of a disability. I think there are ways to make it work. Yeah, I think that's probably more the case. Is people just don't want to play D&D. Yeah, and that's a bummer because like at one point I have friends that I'm like, hey, we should do this, and they're like, no, I'm not gonna. And it's like, okay, that sucks. but because I really want to play D&D with you. But at the same time, like, I don't want to force them to play something that they're not gonna enjoy. Like, that's. I've had a few friends be very polite and like, yeah, let's play D&D, and then they just like, I'm gonna shoot that guy. It's like, okay, you're making it not fun for everybody. Like, why are you doing this? So I think that's probably more likely the case, but that's okay too. Like, not everybody has to like everything you like. It's just like every time they ask you to play League of Legends or whatever it was. It's like, I just don't want to play that. I just don't want to play that anymore. I'm sorry. I don't know what I've done to this bear. He does not look like... He looks like a really tall koala. I think I've done a really tall koala. No puny rogue dagger. Oh, wait, can you not see what I'm seeing? Oh, lordy. Yeah, I think we're breaking Aggie. I think it's slowly destroying itself. We might have to find a new system. No puny rogue dagger is ever going to get behind the scales or smite my cleric or paladin. Or have a very powerful lightning spell because they just supposed to be all powerful. Rogues are supposed to be powerful or paladins? You would want an army of ballista. Whoa, Goldtooth's got a story here that I didn't read, so let's take a look at this. Say, if you're gonna say that it's a dragon, make it look like a dragon. Okay, that's fair. For group adventurers to take on a dragon. Okay, yeah, so like dragons are supposed to be these all-powerful big creatures, and I think that's totally fair for D&D. I guess we kind of talked about that a little while ago, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of different types of dragon-ish things in a lot of different lores, and I think it's definitely worth kind of setting that out. I've had a few people actually talk to me about kind of back on that note. I've had people ask me to draw dragons, just like this situation. But they don't have to specify what kind of dragon, and it's like that makes a difference. I've also had people just like, oh, draw me a red dragon. I'm like, well, that's a color, but I need like visual descriptors. What's the actual term I'm trying to think of? Yeah, I can't think of what it's called. Physical attributes, yeah, that's one way to say it, but it's visual. It could be visual cues. There's an art term for it. Where it's like, how many arms do you want your dragon to have? What kind of scales are they? Are they a fish dragon? Are they? And that's where, like I said, classification is cool. I like that classifications exist, but I don't think all classifications are the same across all mediums. So, I mean, what you drew was still pretty good as a dragon-like creature. That's fair. It's like I said, it's very much a yeah. Do you think your friends hate you? I thought you said your brain hates you, and that's how I feel right now because I can't make words in my head. But I doubt your friends hate you, otherwise they wouldn't be your friends. I think there was just the issue of people looking at these fantasy lizards and go over must be dragons because it looks like a creature. Hey, they're all just categorized like that. Kind of like all dinosaurs. I think dragon should be the dinosaur word, like the main classifier. Yeah, pretty much. Just like dragon should encompass all of these things in my mind. Every kind of large scaly flying thing, and then. Which is why, like, pseudo-dragons is kind of weird. It's like, well, it's all kind of a dragon. Salmon snake? See, there you go. So, yeah. If you're in Finland, apparently dragons should look like giant fish. That's not true. I just made that up. But I just totally made that up. But the wording, yeah. But I really wish, no, I don't wish. Why did I say that? I appreciate that there are so many different types of mythos and lore, all related to dragons, like that we've clumped all that together. But it kind of leads to these different qualifiers of it, because it is something that isn't, once again, isn't a one unique thing. But I think it'd be kind of a dragon. It's either dragon or it's not, because the kobolds should just be listed as full-fledged dragons. That's an interesting point. And I think kobolds are. I still consider them dragon goblins. Like, that's how I think of kobolds. I think they're, yeah. I think they're dragonoids, dragonkin, tiny dragonborn. Yeah, I'm okay with Jesus. In my life. That's all I got. I don't got a lot going on today. I started with the idea of wanting to draw the Barrington Ale logo, and just like derailed on dragon politics, and I do. Yeah, I get really distracted, which is fine. That's kind of the point. Part of this is just hanging out, and I like it. I like hanging out with everybody here. So, draw a dragon fighting a bear. Should lizard focuses be considered as dragons? Sure. I mean, I don't see. Ooh, see? A Dimetrodon is not a dinosaur. Technically, you're correct. So lizard folk are not dragonborns. I don't know. I don't like putting boxes in things. I like all the monster manuals. But ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, from a scientific perspective, are we talking about dragons being cold-blooded or warm-blooded? That's a very, very good point. I mean, how much of the fantasy biology do we want to get into? I think that's the real question. None of it? Yeah, that's probably a good. Yeah. So I think that's just, it's really the whole. You know, someone yesterday said that griffins had ears, and that offended me a little bit. And then I thought about it, and I was like, maybe they do have ears. No, I was just like, what? What? They don't have ears. No, like they totally have like ear bowls. The ability to hear. Yeah, see, you give them like the big ear fin, and I think like the World of Warcraft griffins look really, like the old ones look really derpy, because they're like, I'm a bird, and then they have like these weird little feathers. And I'm like, you know, that's legit. I would consider that an ear, even though it's not really an ear. This is like, I'm pretty sure this is from like Warcraft, the original. I might be talking about hippogriffs. That's a good point. I absolutely am talking about hippogriffs. That is where my brain went. No, let me double check this, because I'm thinking of like the Griffin Riders from Warcraft 1. Griffin Riders. No, they're just big birds. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Copy image. I want to paste that. Like these kind of eagle falcon things have the weird little hawk pointy ears. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would consider that if you're like, oh, they've got that little ear thing. I'd be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, here's another one. You're right. They do have little tiny kitty ears. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But yesterday when you said that, I was like, what? And then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, no, you're right. That's crazy. They have little ears. Lizard folk, not lizard force. Yeah, I was a little confused about why a lizard force should be considered a dragon, but lizard folk is definitely better. But you see what I'm saying, right? It's just a classifying of lizards. Like, yeah, and that's kind of the argument to be made. Is like, where do you draw the line when you're where's the classification differentiation for? But see, once again, we're comparing the real world analogy of dragons to dinosaurs. Like, is that what we want to do? Do we want to say that dragons were not magical arcane creatures? Okay, so this is only your opinion, not scientific. That's interesting. That's kind of cool. Looking at it as a dragons are just a conglomeration of all of our greatest fears into one thing. Instinctual fears of giant cats and snakes and birds. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so dragons are just anti-monkeys, is what you're saying. Like, if a monkey was hunted by something, the dragon would be the best monkey hunter, and that's why we're scared of it. Okay, that's fine. I could get behind that. Okay, lizard folk are not dragons because there's more to dragon than just being a lizard. Is that what you just said? Can you reiterate that one more time? Okay, cool. That's fair. And I think with, like, especially with D&D, once again, that because it's a storyline that is like, in this universe, dragons are, and then they have their list. I think that's really good. And so if we're talking specifically in a D&D standpoint, which we are here most of the time, I think it's fair that we can say, like, dragons should look like this when we're talking about them. And so then that's when I'm okay with breaking it down into, like, all the different classifications of it. Because now we have, like, oh, this is not a dragon, this is a pseudo-dragon. Cool, we already have rules for why that's broken down. But we can only do that. Because we already have, like, D&D as the agreed upon, like, look, we're all using this lore book. We're all using this book. But the problem with that now is, even within D&D, it's changed over time. So when I ask for people, once they say, like, draw me a dragon, it's like, I'm going to just draw some super crazy stuff until I feel like this is a dragon in my mind. Unless people ask me for, like, a very specific type of dragon, which, people have done in the past, and that's totally fine. double horned dragons. Oh, extra pairs of arms. That's different. Underground dragon would be a lindworm. See, I'm okay with that. And if I explained to my characters what they saw and they were like, "Oh shit, a dragon," I'd be like, "Yep, good, perfect." That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and that's why I always fall back to the Magic the Gathering card of all wyverns claim to be dragons until the dragons show up. Like, I think that's legit. I think if you showed 20 villagers 5 different types of dragons, they would just be like, oh yeah, those are all dragons. One of them had wings, one of them didn't have wings. They all tried to eat us, and it was terrifying. Yeah, American specifically, not. Yeah, the Quetzalcoatl, exactly. Native. If I could be totally wrong. I don't want to misstate this, but I think a lot of North American and South American dragons have been a lot more serpent-like. African dragons too. I don't know anything about African dragons. That would be interesting. I should look that up. But I believe red and copper dragons can be somewhat mistaken. That's a big thing. D&D totally took that concept that we were just talking about of like trying to describe dragons and super complicated it by adding the colors and the and the metallic versions of all the dragons. Because you used to, if you go back in literature, there were cases, I think was of like dragons just being like, oh, my scales are covered in gold because I'm so rich. That might be a Lord of the Rings thing. I don't remember. Or that might have been Beowulf. But either way, is that actually a different type of dragon, or is it just a dragon that likes rolling around in gold? Have they turned themselves into a gold dragon? So I think that might be the kind of the gamification of things. But salamanders. Oh, that see, I totally forgot about salamanders being these giant mythical flame beasts. I would count that as a dragon. Totally just a giant salamander that breathes fire. Why does it breathe fire? I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't know why it's breathing fire. I would call that a dragon. Cockatrices are pretty cool. But would you consider that a dragon? Probably not. I probably wouldn't, but only because I know what it is. Back in the old times, people thought salamanders were baby dragons because when they threw wet logs into the fire, the salamander would run out thinking he was just hatching a dragon. That's actually pretty cool. A gold dragon is just a kobold that has surprisingly huge inferiority complex. What? Kobold's just covering itself in gold, building a golden dragon body out of it. Look at me! I do like kobolds. I think kobolds should be classified as dragons. And I think they only aren't because dragons are snotty about it. It should be. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. They're like the. I think kobolds are closer to dragons. Well, I shouldn't say are closer to dragons than dragonborn. I think they're more like primivianly more like dragons than. Like if a dragonborn is more human than dragon, then I think a kobold is more dragon than humanoid. Not. Or not. Dang it. Drow. I don't know why I said not. That was funny. Drow, if you have something interesting to share, just share it. You don't have to disclaimer that you found something interesting. You're doing it again. What's the interesting thing you found? A 100-headed dragon? That's pretty awesome. I do like the hydras. Hydras are really cool. Are hydras dragons? That's a good question. Because hydras are super dope, and I love them. But are they dragons? Next question. Is Godzilla a dragon? Or is he just a giant scaly bear? See? Am I drawing a... Boop. Check it out. Check it out. Just hang out. Just follow me. Follow me for a minute. Follow me for a minute. Okay. Okay. So, chubby bear. Godzilla. I think Godzilla is just a big, scaly bear. Let me just put the little weird spines on it. Because as we all know, bears can breathe fire. Ah! Flames! Honey! It's the same thing. It's the same person. And we give them little arms. Give them little chubby bear arms. They both have claws. Yeah, they both have claws. Yeah, radioactive bears. That's a thing. We all know this is a thing. Bears emit a low-level radiation because they have old-school Godzilla DNA in them. That's how that works. Bears are basically Godzilla kobolds. That's it. When it comes to the Hydra argument, I want to say that there are, but I also want to say that they're not. I think the Hydra might also be once again, like a creature. The Hydra existed, kind of the way like Medusa existed. Like, sure, there are multi-headed dragons, and sure there are other gorgons and whatever you want to call them. I know there was an argument about that with bulls. We're going to ignore the bulls. But I think maybe the Hydra was a specific multi-headed dragon that Hercules had to fight. Yeah, that was his name. So that might be why. He might have just been a weird cursed dragon with regen. Hydras are subspecies of dragon. Yeah, see, like, you can take that dragon chart and just keep going, like, infinitely, because there are so many different types of dragons. And so it's just a matter of... And from a ooh, interesting. So a Hydra's a type of drake. That's kind of cool. It could be, yeah. I mean, technically, Tiamat... it says Terramat, but I think it's supposed to be Tiamat. Was a goddess of the sea, and she's depicted with 5 heads looking at a fierce sea monster dragon. So I would somewhat see that. Yeah, see, that would make sense. Hydras are a subspecies. And I think subspecies is a cool way to look at it. And that's when we get back to, like, okay, how can we relate that to real-world biology? Because there are subraces, subspecies, subclassifications, and it's not as simple as that. And that's why if we are going to compare them to dragons, I think dragons is just an umbrella term for this entire classifications. Yeah. And if you are going to do it like that, if you are going to say dragons, then absolutely kobolds fall under the dragon. Like, and that's why I think it's a sub race. And I think that's cool. I mean, there are draconic bloodline kobolds. They would think they would get the same thing as any other draconic bloodline. Okay, I mean that's a fair question then. So like you could have the scales, which would give you resistances to something. You could have the breath weapon. You could have wings. You get all like, I mean, you can see in the dark, right? But you could enhance that some extra because dragons have crazy eyeballs. Yeah, there is a D&D anatomy book for dragons that's pretty great. If you can ever get a hold of one of those are pretty good to look at. And they talk about like all the biological aspects of the dragon eyes, and I think that's pretty dope. Yeah, if that's not in every school's library, then that's a shame, and it should be. Holy crap, Leviathan! That's a creepy bug. I expect Barb Tiefling. My DM let me be a warlock of Lavender. Is it supposed to be lavender, or is lavender a thing that I don't know? That's pretty dope. It's a pretty good coat. I used to wear coats like that in high school. Sorry, I just went to the art share. I guess this was posted a long time ago. I'm sorry. This was all posted this morning at like 5 a.m. But I just now saw them in there. Great. It's lots of good artwork there. Work in progress. That looks really good. Andreas, I like the Dragonborn. Dapper. I said that looks really good. And then Andreas the Devil posted is it a lizard folk or a dragonborn? Because see, now sometimes you don't know. You got the horns and the tongue, which makes me think lizard folk. But I would also accept that as a dragonborn. Is it? Got it. Dragonology book. Dragonology. Maybe it's not a D&D thing. Maybe it's just a book that I just attributed to D&D. Is it? Okay. The Complete Book of Dragons. That's a good one. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It might be like a Dragon Codex for D&D that I was thinking of. But there's a lot of cool dragon books out there, so definitely worth a look. I got the Dragon Slayers compendium for Captain Jump Rope last year. That's a super cool book. A kobold has both of these, but not the breath weapon, though. I don't know why a kobold can't have a breath weapon. I would say absolutely should have a breath weapon. Because that's great. Yeah. Cantrip strength breath weapon I think would be pretty cool. I can shoot acid, but only out of one nostril. Here we go. This is my new kobold. I'm gonna call him Chubbs. Maybe that's not appropriate. I don't know. Can I call something Chubbs? Okay. Give him little spindly legs. He needs a little tail. There we go. Wowza! I don't know if I should give away my stats. I think I've given away some of my stats. Yeah. Oh, so I was talking about this yesterday or maybe it was yesterday. It might have been a few days ago.
But I was just like, I was so sick over last week that I was like, I think my constitution score needs to go down a little more, because I was reading the notes from the doctors, and they're like, you can't have salt anymore, or sugar, or processed foods, or basically anything ever. You can have water and carrots. It's like, oh, okay, go me. That's a good point. I might be cursed. I need to find a cleric. Like, maybe I just need to get my my attributes back. Like, that's a find a spirit healer. Yeah, maybe that's my problem. Like, I miss cheese. Cheese is amazing. Oh, but no more cheese. Oh, I love cheese. Yeah, it's just cheese is just the devil. Like, I hate it. This is a funny. Like, I started working at that pub, and and I started working at that pub because my last job was basically killing me, and what I discovered was, oh, I'm not supposed to be eating any of the food that my old job was. They're like, yeah, just don't eat any of that ever again. I was like, okay, I can do that. And then I started working at the pub, and they're like, you should try this super bacon double mac tight burger that we covered in cheese, like beer cheese. We just poured it on top. And I'm like, that will literally make me die if I eat that. I'm gonna eat it, but I'm probably gonna be dead. So we're just gonna roll with it. Mind you, it's really good. It's a super good burger. I just can't eat it. I mean, does anybody else agree with me that the Dragonborn shouldn't be classified as a dragon subrace because they are made by dragons from an alternate universe to be slaves to dragons? That's interesting. Is that legit for all? Was that the lore in previous editions? Because I thought Dragonkin in the older editions were very much just dragon ancestry. Got it. Okay. I understand what you're saying. Oh. That's why people get uppity at me when I say I don't know the difference between a dragonborn and a half dragon. Now it makes sense. Yeah. You have your dragonkin, and then you have your dragonborn, and your dragonkin, or made between a human and a human, made between a dragon and alternate users. Okay, that's fair. No, that's legit. I didn't know that about the lore for Dragonborns, which is weird. So when I made the Dragonborn video, I based it very heavily off of Pathfinder and 2nd edition, I think. Let me look at 2nd edition stuff. Yeah. See, I really like Dragonborn having tails. And that's why it was one of my things is like, I don't like that they don't have tails. Do have tails. Yeah, that makes more sense. Genitals. Genitals is probably the difference between a female and a male kobold. If you're drawing them, I don't know. I wouldn't say much. I think I could look it up. I've looked up much weirder things in my time. Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. What were you saying? Yep. No, I assume my search history, once again, my FBI agent is just like, this is the weirdest crap. What is this guy doing? So I'm
especially when you start getting really specific. Like, I need a dude sitting with a chair, wrapped around left elbow, dog man. And it's just like, what? None of that makes any sense. Oh, here we go, yeah. Dragonborn, also known as the Strixkikik, the ash-marked ones. Draconic creatures native to Erebor. Huh. Very cool. I should have looked this up a long time ago. In 4th edition, Origins Natural, type humanoid. 5th edition, type humanoid, tags Dragonborn. Not natural anymore, apparently. Because of that. Oh man, so after like a week of just drinking nothing but water, I had a Pepsi last night and I thought I was gonna die. Like I had a Pepsi at like 7 o'clock, and then at 2 in the morning I was just like, I'm never going to sleep ever again in my entire life. This is terrible. Constitution is 7. Pretty sure my Constitution is 7 right now. Constitution of 3, that's impressive. I heard a lot of numbers thrown at me. What just happened? Haven't had a soda for a few months. That's impressive. Yeah. I went almost 2.5 years without drinking a soda. And then I went to Winco one day and they were like, you can buy a 20-pack of soda for $3. And I was like, hells yeah, I'm buying that much. That's awesome. And then I just kept doing that, and now I need to not drink soda again. But yeah. That's cheaper than water. There was, yeah, for a while there, it got a little weird. But this doesn't look like a kobold at all. I need to make this better somehow. It looks like a little devil. I can make him a little devil. But for real, what do you think about Leviathans are a mixture of? Ooh, that's interesting. Leviathans, I think, are like older than dragons, but maybe not. I feel like Leviathans are like the scaffolding when you build a world. It's like, okay, we take a whole bunch of magma and then we just slap a Leviathan on there. And then that holds everything together, and then people just forget to remove them. Really? They're classified as elementals in 5th edition? I call bullshit on that. I mean, that's totally probably what it says. I just don't agree with that as a... Mordekaisen's full of crap. Crazy. I feel like I know nothing about D&D right now, and that's okay. Like, I'm fine with that. Yeah. How did I not know these things? Because I guess there are some things that I don't look up because I just feel like I've known it for so long, and apparently the world has changed. Did I die and like slip through something and now I'm in a parallel universe? Is that what happened last week? Is this not the same universe that I was in before I conked out? Oh god, you know what I've done? I just realized this. Hold on. I just drew a spiny capybara. It's the world's largest rodent. Look it up. It's a giant rat deer. That makes no sense. Why would it be classified as an elemental? I've always seen them as a mix between old primordials and dragons. Yeah, and I'm with Goldtooth on that one. That's interesting. I guess they could be. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why they would classify them as an elemental, because they're not like being held together by the ocean. I don't want to click on any links. All right, I'll look at it. Here we go. It's actually kind of cool, though. The capybara. Yeah, right? It's capybara kobold. That sent me to a link to purchase Mordekaisen's Tome of Foes. Not on D&D Beyond. I don't use D&D Beyond. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think anything that spawned in the ocean, I could see the Leviathan being the progenitor of. Like, whether it's just its presence is creating these things. So I could see that being its elemental presence, like it being kind of the core elemental, like the elemental source of sea creatures is kind of a cool idea. Holy balls, that art is ridiculous. That is not how I've ever thought of Leviathan, but that is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I want more tentacles. I want more like Lovecraftian. Yeah. Yeah. I always imagined like the Kraken was kind of like the puppy dog of the Leviathan. The ultimate Kraken. It's the ultimate Kraken. It's the ultimate Kraken. This is what I always thought of when people. I'm gonna post this here. This is what I've always agreed with when it comes to. Yeah. Hooray! The Kraken is retreating. No. Super big. Like that was always my thing. Like Krakens are big sea monsters, and then the Leviathan is like the thing that eats the Krakens. Weird. There's a lot of really cool Leviathan pictures. I'm a big fan out there. I guess I always thought of basically Krakens are to squids as Leviathans are to whales, is kind of my thought, but like bigger and scarier, because fantasy, why not, right? Like, do what you want. Hey, 5th edition is its own thing. It's totally fine. Chris Perkins, you and I one day, we're going to sit down and we're going to have a good chat, and I hope we become friends. Yeah, I said it. I have that problem whenever I'm researching something, and I'm like, how do you spell Morning Cananerners? Tome of Fu. And then I feel like I've drawn them. Zarthans? Z-A... Zartan, D&D. Well, yeah, when I typed in Zartan, it's just a giant, like, chubby turtle, and it's great. That's interesting.
That's the best picture I could find on the internet of a Zartan. The Tempest. That's pretty cool. That is a great picture. Whoever made that, have my hat off to you, sir. Someone on Twitter. I'm gonna go to Twitter and I'm gonna be like, hey, this is super dope. They posted it like half a year ago, but I'm still gonna be like, hey, super dope, great job. Yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, I think Magic the Gathering just added Godzilla, so that means it's canonical in D&D. Yeah, that one's pretty cool too. But so I think once you get to that scale of things are basically natural forces of nature, which maybe that's what they're considering the Leviathan. I mean, if it's made out of water, that makes way more sense. That it's just like the water destruction. And Mornicaden could probably say like, oh yeah, that's the Leviathan, when really the Leviathans are like, hey, what the fuck? Like, we're already a thing, dude. Yeah, exactly. You all right? Ah. I thought, like, you knocked your chair over. Yeah, I'm almost through 3 cups. I got to do some. Wait, is that right? I got to drink more than that. All right, we're gonna take a water break here in a minute, and I'll go refill my water glass. How do you fight a Leviathan? Gundam suits, I think, is what you do. Hey, if you haven't had a Pacific Rim moment in D&D, like, your DM's not doing their job. Really? Am I the only person that does that? I do allow large sized creatures to then be cast enlarge on. That's pretty dope. Fighting giants, like you just have giants fighting each other. Giant mechs, nothing. Okay. The Leviathans are coming for you. How do you freeze something that lives at the bottom of the ocean? Necromentals. So Kevin the Necromancer, currently has one of these. Its name is Mimsy, I believe, right now, the current iteration. We use the Necrocraft means of building it in Pathfinder. Yeah, it's pretty dope. No, it's pretty dope. It's good. It's real good. It's real funny. For a long time, I was having trouble dealing with it because its ability to grab people was so strong that he could just basically walk up to anybody on the field and just grab them by the face and squish them. Like, okay, that's your turn. You squished that guy. Moving on. Oh, a tidal wave is a good move. Tidal wave is very, very. You freeze the ocean, exactly, Bob. I don't understand what's going on there. Yeah, tidal wave super strong. It's got a recharge of 6. Yeah, that's pretty like legendary monster fighting right there. The Zorn are super weird. I agree with that. Plane of Earth. Small shy. CR20. So there you go. That makes total sense. Yep. She was 5, I think. 5 level 20s. Or 6 level 18s. Either way. Yeah, elementals are a strange thing because I think they're basically supposed to be... D&D specifically, anything can be an elemental if it's just the personification of a thing. So like healing elementals, or that's I think why they do that, and they try to make them not look humanoid sometimes. And I don't know if it always comes through. The Zorn are super weird, and I don't know what they were thinking. Yeah. You're going down a rabbit hole there, Drow. I'd be real careful. Yeah, the Chaos Elementals. That was a good one. Rook, you play Pathfinder. Tell me which is better, Pathfinder or 5e? Because me, they just act the same, except one wants to stay 3.5 and the other one is trying to progress. That's exactly what it is. I mean, you're not wrong at all. I don't think there is a better. I think they are different. Because, like I said, when I introduce people to Pathfinder, I generally start them with Pathfinder, show them all these numbers, and they freak out. Then I play D&D with them, and they're like, "Oh, this is way easier." And then about 2 or 3 levels in, they're like, "I want to play Pathfinder again," because D&D is very simple. So I think if you want to play a very, very narrative RP heavy game, 5e lets you jump into that real fast. And if you really like combat and you like team dynamics and lots of customization, Pathfinder's the way to go. So both of which you can have a lot of customization in 5e, and you can have a lot of in-depth RP in Pathfinder, but I think those are suited better for the latter, or however I said that. Yeah. So I don't think one is better than the other. I think they're just different at different things. Because Pathfinder is trying to stay 3.5, because 3.5 was very, very robust and it got broken and needed to be reined in. But 5th edition, for people that want to play 3.5, is too simplistic because it is very, very streamlined. Very, very streamlined. And I think it's very good at being a streamlined RP, or streamlined tabletop RPG. I think they did a great job. Yeah. Pathfinder did a very good job of streamlining 3.5. I think Pathfinder did a good job of taking the things that they wanted to keep to allow that customization. They pared it down a lot, and then 5th edition really went, what is the core things we need, and they did that and ran with it. And now they're starting to bring some of the other stuff back, but yeah, I don't think Pathfinder is. You're right. I don't think Pathfinder is staying 3.5. I think it's taken the heart of 3.5 and really cleaned it up and made it functional again. So, but we can at least all agree that 4th edition was terrible. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really weird that D&D went from 3.5 to 5. I've never understood that, so we can just leave it like that. I don't have. I had at one point in time the D&D 4th edition shaman playing card assist. Assist pack. Like you would buy them. I think you can still buy them now, like the spell books for the cards, and that helped me play 4th edition. But it was literally like I was sitting there with a huge like Magic the Gathering table of cards. Like, okay, this is how my character works. I think I was so confused. 4th edition was ridiculous, but kind of went the wrong direction. And I think that's why they went to 5th edition, because they're like, oh, people don't want this to be more complicated. They want it to function. Okay, great. Let's do that. So I think they learned their lesson. Yeah. Yeah, 5th edition has allowed a lot of new people to play tabletop RPGs, and I'm super happy about that. I'm really glad they did it that way. Fifth edition combat is it's just simplified. Is really all it is, but it allows for really narrative combat, which is fun. I think that's pretty cool. I've had Pathfinder games that have like 6 hours of combat. Yeah. One of my friends, Lars actually. Lars was on the show a while back. He was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, I want people to, when I'm making my campaigns, I want people to think about combat and find ways to strategize and build and do other things besides just attack. And I looked at him like, yeah, so does everybody. Like, that's the goal, and no one does it. It's like, hey, there's a guy in a furnace, and you think he might be weak to fire. I'm gonna stab him. It's like, okay, yeah, you can do that. And then they blast out like 4,000 damage because they're OP, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's fine. That was pretty good. I actually wasn't expecting you to pull the tombstone over on the skeleton. I thought that was a really cool move. Oh yeah, that's right. So jump rope was the one that pulled the tombstone over, and then you like face planted it with it. That was pretty good. I mean, to get what they're trying to do with 4th edition, they were trying to make it more dramatic, so battles acted more like actual. And yeah, 4th edition, really, they made it a little too complicated, and they tried to make it more like, well, World of Warcraft, where it was like, oh, everything recharges, and you just have all these crazy moves, and you have a super move, and you have this, and it's just, it wasn't D&D anymore. It was just, wow, tabletop. They tried to make combat a repetitive thing. Like, instead of having, you basically had like your action surge, right? Like, that was they tried to give you things that were kind of reusable in combat over and over again. Like, so you can use this once per combat, once per encounter. And so you had all these different like time scales that you were trying to keep track of. Like, okay, I can use this once per fight, once per round, once per turn, once per action, and it got really, really complicated. And it's whereas now, like, every caster class has a cantrip and a spell. Whereas then it was like, if you were a mage, you also had a combat feat and you had a action command, and it was weird. There was a lot of little nuances to it. I can't remember any of the names now, but I'd have to go back into it. But they tried to make every class a fighter, barbarian, wizard, and it got really weird. I'm currently trying to help a friend with building a campaign. Bob, that's a very fine thing to do. It is a long process, or it can be very, very short, depending on how you want to do it. Building campaigns are a lot of fun. I just gave this capybara a mustache, and I don't know if that's what I want. Jonas, the first monster was weak to fire, so the party was trying to come up with... I just can't even read that. Come up with a fire-based attacks. Gotta make this a shaman capybara. Get out of my swamp! I am the old... wise man of the... Capybaras live in swamps? They live in jungles, don't they? Not swamps. Jungle shaman. I like it. Dang it. I just drew like a gourd skull. Push-ups time. Yep. Give me a second.
Dang it, Brian. Thank you. Every time I get up from doing push-ups. I don't know if I can lift weights and talk. I think I can, but maybe not. That's probably going to tire me out. I just lost count. I think that's 4. Oh, this is a challenge now. People are just going to shout numbers at me while I see if I can keep track. I'm on 10. 11. One of these days I'm going to have to like go to a gym and just do the live stream from the gym and then figure out how to do art at a gym. I just lost count. I think it was 16. The other thing I've run into with that kind of stuff is like I've played with players that are like, I'm an elemental mage. I'm like, really cool. Okay, I'm gonna throw a fire elemental at you and see how you deal with it, or something that is weak to different elements. And then that player's like, oh yeah, I just took slime spells. I don't have any elemental things. It's like, well, great. So there's a little bit of not being able to get around it sometimes, of having to figure out what combat should be like. Out of breath. But I think if you talk to your players enough and you kind of understand what their characters want, like I had one friend make a wizard that was specialized in running. I kid you not. He was just a speed wizard. He had all the feats to make him run really fast, and he had spells to make him run faster. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to be helpful to you. And I'm like, 20 guys attack you, and he's like, I run away. And I was like, combat's over. Great job. And that was what he wanted to do, and he wanted to try it, and he had fun. But it wasn't the normal way I would end a fight. Slime spells? I always think of grease. Grease is a funny spell. Like acid. I guess acid isn't really a slime spell, but there's some acid spells. Acid arrow, yeah, melts acid arrow. Ooh, super good. You shut your mouth. melts acid arrow will always be good. Yeah, I mean that. See, now that's the thing, that if your characters are super amped up about acid damage, you don't want to throw things that are immune to acid at them all the time. That's not fun. So that's a great question. How are we supposed to know that things are immune to acid? People don't RP enough during combat. Because especially if you're like a very well-versed player, what do I know about this creature? Have I ever seen this creature before? And a lot of people don't want to waste their turn doing that because they're like, I should just throw a fireball. Fireball is always the answer. Joe Cat, I'm looking at you. And it's like, yeah, if you're wasting your turn not doing damage, you're not doing something. But I think that sucks. And that's kind of the bummer. That's kind of the bummer of the thing that I think D&D kind of got a little too simplistic. Ooh, that's a cool idea. Do you use the initiative check for their knowledge? Okay, so Dippy just suggests Dippy or Dippy Fresh. Which do you prefer I say? Gotcha. Okay. So Dippy was suggesting that when you do your initiative check, you just allow people to do a knowledge roll. And that's a cool idea. I like that idea.
I feel like knowledge rolls are not used a lot, and so I do have some players that just never ever take knowledges because they want combat, they don't care. And in those situations, it's not worth me putting the time into putting a creature that has like a really tricky mechanic, because I know those players just don't want that. That's not the kind of game they're looking for. But I do also have players that are very much into that want to have to strategize with specific types of creatures or types of attacks. And for those players, I actually do a lot of it preemptively. Like, I'll introduce them to a creature, let them fight it, and then like, holy crap, that was weird. Maybe we should get some supplies that will help us fight more of those. Or is there a way that we can get prepared to do that in the future? And that's really just when you're planning your campaign and planning your combats, that's important to do, but it has to be based on your character's wants, your players' wants. I mean, that sounds pretty barbarian. So, no, I think that's legit. So Jonas asked if he was weird because whenever he gets disarmed in combat, he just wants to do wrestling moves. I think that's totally legit, and I think that's fine. Sure. I had someone... Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry. I interrupted you. Yeah, so with Pathfinder, what they did... This is the other thing with D&D is grappling is kind of weird. Because they removed the combat maneuvers from 3rd edition and wherever. Yeah, now it's always contested rolls, and so it's like, I want to grab them. Okay, you succeed. Now I'm going to do a crazy like pinwheel flip with them, and it's like, great. But with Pathfinder, it takes your turn to grapple, and then they basically have a chance to respond in a way, and then on your turn you can attempt to do something else. And there's tons of math for that to see how it works. And so combat, if you're not specialized in grappling combat, it's pretty hard to do that. But you can specialize in it and be super dope at grabbing people and throwing them against the ropes and stuff. I had someone, I don't know if it was in a YouTube comment or during the... I like to see you keep fighting when I make your plate armor extremely heated up. Sun metal. Anyways, I don't know if it was in a YouTube comment or in here, but someone was talking about them having issues with their players constantly just grabbing people and like suplexing them off of ledges. And my thought to that was, one, there's a few rolls there that should happen, and two, stop putting ledges in your campaigns. Like, that would solve the problem instantly. Yeah. You're fighting 10 kobolds around a death pit. So my two responses for that is always, one, don't put ledges in your campaigns. Because that's very much, you set up the surroundings, you set up the players. If you feel like your players are basically building the surroundings for you, that's a control thing that you need to deal with. And then two, anytime someone falls off a ledge, anytime anyone falls off a ledge, they make a reflex save. To see if they can grab the ledge. I don't care what's going on. Even if you're like, I'm going to grab somebody and I'm going to chuck them 40 feet up in the air and then off the ledge, they get a reflex save to like slap your wrist as you're throwing them so they don't instantly die. And that's something we were talking about, like character autonomy. Like, if you did that to a player, well, he picks you up and he just throws you off the ledge and you die. Like, they would not be happy with you. So why is it okay for them to do that to your NPCs? It's not. And that's the thing. So I feel like a lot of times people are like, well, my players, they just keep doing these stupid things that I don't like. It's like, well, it's not their fault because they're just trying to do something that they think sounds fun. It might be something that you need to figure out why they're allowed to do that. And it's partly consistency. Like, you need to make sure that you're keeping the rules equated across all formats of them. So once again, anytime someone falls off a ledge, reflex save, regardless of who the person is. Every time. And then 2, it's your environment, make it work for you. So if they're, and I have to pause here because once again, if the player is based around grappling, you don't want to put them in a situation where like, oh, it's completely immune to grappling. Like, I would like to, my character's really good at throwing people off cliffs. Great. You know, you can't do that every time, but, you know, maybe there are some cool things you can do that don't involve insta-killing all the creatures. And I think that's where combat can be really dynamic, and talking about that kind of stuff is good. But it, yeah, D&D has the maximum fall damage of 20d6. I honestly... Wait, how does that not make sense? Is that what you asked? Right. My issue with that is that there's a terminal velocity for every thing. Everything has its own terminal velocity. And so the fact that it's like it's maxed out at that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Because like a level 1 character and a level 20 character probably have the same terminal velocity. So I get that. I'm okay with that. But there is a point. Actually, you know what? I kind of get that. I think just 20d6 is a weird number. I don't know why they picked one number. That would be 200 feet. I think terminal velocity for a person is like 250? Or is it 180? I haven't looked that up. It doesn't matter. But so I get that, but I don't think it should be equivalent for everything is my issue with it. For players, sure. Like, do the math, figure it out. See how long it takes to reach terminal velocity with the player. And then you need that chart for every sized creature in the game. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, see, I'm the other way. I think there should be a limit. But that's awesome. See, if you can sit down and do the math, I think that's great. But the thing that bothers me about it is, well, there's inherent inconsistency. Yeah, that's a really great way to say it. The funny thing about it is that, like, the rule of thumb for terminal velocity, once you can survive your terminal velocity, you can basically fall from any height. Like that's, but that's the thing. Yeah, a level 10 barbarian can all of a sudden survive their terminal velocity because it's a static number, and it's like, crap. I now have a character that I can drop from the moon, and they'll probably be fine. Yeah, and resistances. I mean, that might be okay. So there was one of my players had DR from bludgeoning, or no, what was it? Skeletons and things that are undead don't take non-lethal damage. They just don't. You can't punch a skeleton unconscious. And so if they have, if that's the case, then you drop them off something or hit them with something that does 1,000 non-lethal damage, and they're like, it's fine. I'm a skeleton. I don't care. And it feels really weird. Monks, on the other hand, do the same thing. Like, monks can fall from any. And that's kind of like ninja-esque. So I guess it's okay that there are limitations to the types of damage and, like, fall damage being applied to creatures. But it's just... It does feel very strange when they put a static number on something like, all creatures take this. It's like, but my guy's made out of diamond. Like, would I really take that? That should be taken into account with your DR or your resistance to a damage type. But it doesn't always feel right. And I think that's kind of at the DM's discretion is really where that should fall off. So Official rules in 5th edition, it takes an hour to get any metal armor on or off, and it takes 10 minutes to get light armor on or off. Yeah. Heat metal against Warforged is a fun idea. Heat metal is a weird one. I think a lot of people have used it. Yeah, Warforged aren't always made of metal. I would consider Warforged not a unattended object. Like Warforged would absolutely get a save against Sun Metal. Magical items should get a save against Sun Metal. An item you're holding should be able to be saved against for Sun Metal. But I mean, technically you're not supposed to be sleeping in metal armor, so when you wake up you're just supposed to spend an hour getting it on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's some other rules about that. Like a lot of people are really loose about Yep, yeah, and that's talking about basically unequipping and re-equipping armor is another thing that if you're letting your players basically be asleep and then wake up in full armor, that's your fault. And so you might have to change the rules of things because you are allowing certain things to like slide by. So yeah, and then the point of exhaustion is no good. But there are also feats, like in Pathfinder, there are feats you can take that let you sleep in armor if that's what you want, and like spells that allow you to do it. Yeah, but I don't think they're the people throwing people off ledges and like people that just always sun metal something to win. It's not so much that you have to counter them by saying like, no, you can't do that, or there are no ledges ever. We're getting rid of the ledges in the game. That's a quick solution. Like, hey, here's a challenge. Haha, no one's wearing metal armor. But it has to be, you have to find a way to blend it so that your players are still having fun doing the thing that they're like basing their character around. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun. I think there are two ways to deal with the whole sleeping armor situation. And what I do is I basically ask them, you know, how are you setting up camp? Who's staying up? And I figure if you're staying up, you're probably sitting in your armor or most of your armor. It depends. Depends on what you're doing. It really sucks when the DM exploits that time of weakness, though. Yeah, and that once again, that's the thing, is the DM, it should be fun. So if, like, you're waiting for people to go to sleep and they're like, 20 Krakens attack you, it's like, okay. But, yeah. And that's why I'm not a big fan of pure randomness, like, I have to roll every time you sleep. It's like, is this a good time for an encounter? Would it be fun? I'm going to set up an encounter because I know you guys aren't going to be wearing armor. And yeah, exactly. You have to plan an encounter around people that don't wear armor. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, and that's what the thing is. You don't want to take their autonomy away. If their character is based around just having armor on all the time, and you keep hitting them with like, you took your armor off, you get attacked by 20 bandits. It's like that's just being a dick to the player, right? But if you every now and again throw some people at them when they're at their weakest, that can be really fun for them because like now you have to switch up your game. Like, what are you gonna do? And I've had a lot of fun doing those kind of encounters, especially for people that I think the best one is I had a guy who had a glaive all the time. He was just like, he was a large creature in a glaive, and he's just like, poke. And I'm like, okay, I disarm your thing. And he's just like, I don't know what to do now. I'm like, figure it out. Like that's your deal. Yeah, and he's like, I'm just gonna grab him. It's like, great, let's start doing that. So I think it's good to pull people out of their comfort zone, but it's not good to like punish them for it all the time. And that's really the trick. Like if they really like wrestling people and throwing them into things and off things, great. Like, set up encounters where they can do that. But it doesn't always have to be, you know, let them do it sometimes. Let them have fun with it. Most classes just never wear armor. Yeah. There's a lot of weird stuff. Like Pathfinder barbarians can wear armor. You're slightly slower, which is totally cool. Armor got a lot of simplifications, which, to be honest, I mean, that does make spells like shield and mage armor and stuff more viable, which I'm cool with. I think D&D balanced it out pretty well. But I also am a big fan of like tower shields and kind of armor combat. Is there only one kind of shield? Yeah. Yeah. I hate it when paladins and clerics, all they do is hide behind those suits of metal and never die. It's so unrealistic. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? I like the idea that someone in armor is just like... I think it's really funny when like a level 10 fighter in full plate mail is like walking around and there's a whole bunch of like really low-level goblins. And they're like, get him! Tink! Crap! And then the goblins have to get really creative. Like, let's pour boiling oil on him. That'll get him. Hmm. Yeah. How much defenses would you give a tower shield? +4, +5? My big thing about tower shields was, 1, they're huge. 2, they slow you down. 3, you can cover behind them, which is really cool. I like being able to, like, you can give somebody cover from arrows, which is really dope. I had one guy spend a hero point to block the entirety of a dragon breath with his tower shield and save 2 people's lives. I thought that was really cool. And I'm like, okay, here's how it's going to work. You jump in front of it because like you have to make a reflex save to get in front of the blast. And he succeeded. I'm like, great. You're spending your hero point to do this because it's not your turn. And I'm going to take your tower shield away. It's just going to be destroyed. And if there's any spillover in damage, you're going to take it. He's like, perfect, let's do it. And it was super epic, and I loved it. It was a great moment. Completely not the way the rules of the game work, but it was awesome. Guidelines, yeah. I always hear the argument that you can just use spells on them, and they get terrible dex and wisdom. So the healing say, how much of a thing you have to throw at them until they finally cast it. Paladin Death. 30 AC is pretty good. Yeah, 5th edition. I think that is one of the max, isn't it? I don't think you can go much higher than that. Can you? Yeah, I think because the stats tap out. Got it. Yeah, okay. You got to know the rules to break them properly. Exactly. Yeah, I think so. Could you draw a toucan Aarakocra? Could try, I guess. Could try to draw a toucan Aarakocra. I mean, I can draw a toucan. That's something I can do. Maybe I can draw a toucan. I don't even know if I can draw a toucan. That's a good question. Follow your nose. Yeah, we're actually talking about D&D today, which is good. Yeah, yesterday we talked about Star Wars for 3 hours. 2 hours. Something like that. Fantasy Space Wizards. I only say that because I have a paladin whose AC of 28. The character never drops anywhere between 100. Between 100 to help me, always around 230 health. 230 health on a paladin? I forgot. You guys are playing max level stuff, aren't you? That's pretty good. Yeah. So I pissed off one of my I had a fighter whose AC was 32, 33-ish. And basically if I had anything in the party that could hit him, it would just kill any of the other party members. And I'm like, I can't feasibly do this. So I had to introduce a whole bunch of like gunslingers to the game just so he would basically just take 5 damage every turn. Like that was how I dealt with it for a while. And then I had to start incorporating magic and I had to start incorporating other things. And it wasn't fun for him. He's like, I built this character super tough, but I understand that it's not, no one else is this tough and it's weird. And so I started, through talking with him, we basically made him really good at maneuvering. And so he built his character around basically like tripping up other players. And the fact that he wasn't taking damage was fine because the monsters I started having were really good at maneuvering around the party and getting to where they didn't, getting the backline. So he had to start strategizing where to put his character and how to properly defend instead of worrying about ever being hit. Because he's like, okay, I'm not going to take damage. I need to figure out how to save the party. And that became really fun for us kind of sparring that way. And so, yeah, at level 20, paladins aren't really supposed to be taking damage. Like, they are supposed to be super tough death machines. Yeah, they're basically demigods, yeah. And so I think paladins are just not supposed to take damage at that point. And if they do, it's like, oh, that's not good. Like that thing's kicking the crap out of the paladin. We're all gonna die. That's how I always think of paladins. Is just these like super huge tanks. Oh, paladins are their gods. That's true. Yeah, level 20 paladins are their gods, chosen person. Say that again. What was that, Jonas? I missed what you said. I really didn't hear what you said. Oath of the Ancients. Is that like a Cthulhu Yuan-ti? A druid? Okay. Ah, okay. So you're talking about the anti magic paladin or druid. We ran into that a little bit with the drow because the drow have natural spell resistance, and in Pathfinder they actually have, it's a whole different armor set. And we stacked it, and we were like, holy crap! Like you're basically just immune to all magic. And then we started looking into it, and it's like, these don't stack. You can't stack these because it was very much like I'm casting level 20 Finger of Death. I have to roll above a 19 to hit you, and I didn't do it, so it fizzles. And that's before I even tried to hit him because of his spell resistance. And it's like, that's not good. We have to figure that out. And it's okay to playtest that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, sure. Yeah, having double resistances. I don't know if I would allow it, but if it's in the book, that's what the book says, right? Yeah. Okay. What was the other one then? Didn't you say you gave him Aura of Protection? Oh. Okay. Don't gnomes have resistances as well? Or the advantage on saving throws? Intelligence stuff. But then the Yuan-ti get to add their charisma to that save, so that would be pretty dope. Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah, see, that would be pretty... I think that's legit. I think that's okay. I don't know how to draw toucans. I've just discovered.
I need to look up how toucans look. Oh, hell yeah. Pretty good. How are you? The only reason why I think that I'm the only one that can actually take on a paladin is because I have a whole bunch of healing abilities. Not only that, I have shape change. I mean, shape change is kind of, in my mind, super broken. Just being able to just turn on another set of another health bar is crazy in my mind. I think the fact that it's on concentration makes it viable. Like I don't say people can't do it. Totally allow people to do it. Think it's great because of like the concentration aspect of it. But craziness, shape changes, craziness is great. I changed into a dragon. You what? I'm gonna turn into a dragon. Fifth edition druids are really good, and I think that's totally fair because I think druids were a little in previous editions. Even in Pathfinder, like they're good, but they're not like, I don't think they're top tier. And I think in fifth edition, I think they're a lot better. Especially there's always like, do you do shape change or do you do the pet? And that was always a big issue. You can have a pet in Pathfinder. You can have a pet. Really? You've never seen someone play a druid? Interesting. Well, it surprises me. I asked you to draw a toucan because I don't know how to. Weird. Yeah, I don't know. I've played druid before. I've had lots of druid players. Dinosaur druid was pretty good. I thought that one was pretty great. If you haven't played a dinosaur druid, I highly suggest it. That's a good question. I don't know if Dragonborns can use their breathe fire as T-Rex. I'd allow it. I don't think you can though. I think shape change specifically says you just take on polymorph. Polymorph you take it on the things of the thing, but I don't know about beast shape. Cold Tooth. When you beast shape, do you maintain your natural abilities? Like if you can breathe fire or have special supernatural abilities, can you use them in beast shape? Okay. No, I think that's I think that's the exact same thing. Druids are fun to play. Let's do this. Let's get some teeth. You're doing it again. Just tell us what you found. A wild magic barbarian sounds pretty awesome. I'm a big fan of like the Blood Rager or the Scald. I think those are all really fun. I mean, there's a fun class to play. The Moon Druid. It's just a little overpowered. Being able to turn yourself into an elemental with a bonus action and keep doing that consistently. Yeah, I mean that once again, that's my issue with all the shape changing stuff, is that it doesn't either keep a percentage of your life or yeah, I mean, it makes Druids really, really tanky, which is kind of cool because you're just like, I need a different health bar than the one I have right now. I'm a giant koala bear now. So, Boop-a-doop-doo. So Helios says the fire hands that Keyleth uses, I think that I really like that idea, and I think that is a cool way to do it if you're specializing in beast shape. In Pathfinder, what they do is basically there are some items that basically enchant your claws or your fangs, and I've used those in the past, like an amulet that you enchant, and so when you turn into beast shape, you still have that amulet that gives you fire claws. I think that's a fun way to like augment those characters. But once again, I don't know if it works quite the same way. So I like that idea that you can basically level up your character instead of like leveling up your weapons, if that's how you're specializing it, and that's always fun. I really like that way of doing it. How do you block weapons? Is that what you asked? Oh, enchanting them. You can level up weapons by enchanting them. Giving them +5, giving them fire, ice damage, whatever. But with beast shape, runes level up your weapons. But with beast shape, it's just like, I'm gonna turn into a slightly bigger bear. Cool. that was the problem with I think Pathfinder in 3.5 is the beast shape ability was good, but it wasn't amazing because you couldn't level it up. It was just like, oh, you turned into this and now you are that thing. And it's like, it's not as fun for character development. And so I think a lot of people didn't play it. 5th edition, I think, is a little better because they let you do it a lot more frequently and just kind of crazy with it. But I think a lot of the fun for me and a lot of the fun for my characters is leveling up your character. And when you're leveling up your character is, now I can be a swan. It's not as exciting. So I definitely think the homebrew fixes it. Is really like finding ways to level up your character and have fun with it is really cool. Like with the dinosaur is super cool. And I would probably allow a breath weapon if you had a breath weapon. Because if that's something that levels with your character, and now I'm a fire-breathing boar. Super fun. But yeah, something we did with the dinosaur druid was person turns into a stegosaurus. Person casts enlarge on the stegosaurus. Someone gives the stegosaurus a potion of fire breathing, and then you're just like, ah! Giant Godzilla monster battle. It's perfect. Woo! Just flying all over the place. It's pretty good. So I drew a toucan, but I didn't draw a toucan Aarakocra. What if I give it a shirt? I'll give him a shirt. Sorry, I'm drawing on your space. Monster feats? Yeah, that's another great way to improve the... I've actually done that in the past. Is basically when you level up with your druid, you can take, like, rend, which is really cool. Some of the creatures have it automatically, but basically letting them take things like pounce or... what's the other one? Fly-by attack. That's a really cool one. And the cool thing about that is if you allow that kind of feat change, like, oh, when I level up, I'm going to take this, it only works when they turn into, a creature that can fly. Like, that's perfect. Because then they have to choose, like, is it good for me to use that so I can use that feat? And I think that's more in line with people that, like, take something to improve their charge. Like, it's not always going to be useful, but when you can do it, it's really good. And I think that's kind of the way you should go with it. So, I realize now that I'm just drawing the toucan from Legend of Zelda with his stupid accordion. This is what accordions look like now. I'm a bird. It's a squeeze box. It's a squeeze box or a tube piano. A hand. No, it's not a hand flute. That's something else. A sailor's
toot tube.
Most useless as a concentration. You don't have to deal with it when your spells are mostly useless. See, I really like accordion. Yeah, accordion.
It's a squeeze box. I think I'm done for the day. I think I'm reaching my limit.
And if a beast shapes keeps the physical features of the player as a Minotaur Druid turns into a bear with the horns.
World of Warcraft would definitely agree with you, Caleb. There's actually, they just came out with the Shifter race, which is, I think someone told me the Shifter is a race in D&D, but it's a class now in Pathfinder, which is pretty cool. And it's basically, you basically are a shape-shifting druid, but instead of shape-changing into a bear, you basically turn into, like, I have bear arms now, but also a crocodile face. And so you can shift different parts of your body into different animals, which is pretty cool. And then at level 20, you get, like, feats of the Chimera, and you can turn into all of these different animals at the same time. But you basically have to specialize in each of those animals. So you can only ever... what? That's actually the same thing, is what it is. Like, so the shifter druids are people that are controlling lycanthropy magic, I think. So they basically become part werebear and part wereturtle. And so they can only ever shift into those forms. But you do get to choose them, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it absolutely is. That's the beauty of Pathfinder, is that you have to have many sheets, many character sheets. So, I think we're winding down, though. It's almost 1. I don't want to... can I draw something for 10 minutes? I need to get more water. Where turtles? Yeah, let's draw some turtles. I'll draw a turtle for a little bit, and then I'll call it. I'll hang out till 1 o'clock, and then I got to get this video done. I want this video done. I want it to be a good one, but I also want it to be finished. I've been working on it for way too long. It's like a fake turtle mask. That's what we're going to do here. Would I allow someone who follows the Warlock rules but picks from Bard spells? I mean, you could multi-class that way pretty easily. Because technically, if you take a level in Bard, you have access to the full spell list. You just can't cast some of the spells without doing things. So are you saying like 1-to-1 transference of... They're both spontaneous casters. I don't see a reason not to. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. I mean, I think you're actually giving up some cool stuff to do it. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. You're like, if your patron is like the god of singing. Yeah, I summon instrument. So instead of having like a hex blade, you have like a hex piano, or a cursed xylophone. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think it'd be fine. I think there might be some limitations to it, but I'd have to look at it more closely. I think it'd be totally cool. You're basically selling your soul to the devil for the ability to play the guitar. That would actually be pretty interesting for a warlock patron. Is just I think a siren. Yeah, a siren's a good way to look at that. Or like the devil from Futurama. Yeah, the Tenacious D Devil would be pretty good. Give you a pick of destiny and then you just jam out. There you go. That's the way to do it. Wait, there's not a were turtle for 5e? There's totally there's absolutely one for Pathfinder. That's a good point. I didn't think about it like that. With the pick of destiny, if you can outbeat the devil in a you would have to just always roll a 20. So I guess like how would you do that? It gives you a plus 20 to performance checks. So long as you're holding it. That could be a fun way to do it. And then even if you roll a natural one, it's still pretty good. Like your worst playing is better than someone who doesn't know how to play his best. 'Cause it's the pick, bow out of Destiny Child. Super good. I would say go for it. I like those kind of like quirky items. I tried to, for my Dragoon, I was like, okay, here's what I want. I want a faceplate mask that no one can see through but me. Like, that's how I want it magically enchanted. It's just a piece of metal that when I look through it, can totally see through it. If someone else puts on my helmet, it's just a piece of metal. And my DM was like, well, I guess? And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be great. It has not come up in any like useful form yet, but I think it's dope. Yeah, exactly. All right, we got the pick of destiny. We got a toucan. We got a turtle paladin. Yeah. I was started today saying, hey, let's draw some stuff from campaigns, and then we didn't do that. We didn't do that a whole bunch, so I had to draw something from a campaign. And if it's the pick of destiny, there you go. You know, that's kind of the thing about the live streams. I was gonna draw stuff from the campaign, preferably to make a Barrington Ale T-shirt, which now doesn't exist, but it'll eventually. A little bit, like 10 seconds, and then we drew some weird dragon stuff. So we argued about dragons, which was fun. I think that was actually a really legit, like, conversation about dragons. I think that was pretty good. The capybara needs a shaman shield or a mask on his back. That could be interesting, actually. Just give him like a... I don't know what I would put for this guy. He just needs like bones. He's just got like the troll. The troll bone shoulder pad. Yeah. Yeah, we did some stuff. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. Did kind of turn into a free draw day. But that's okay. That's how it works sometimes, you know? I did a workout, drank some water, drew some birds. Drawing some burbs is always a good time. Talked about Leviathans. I think it was a pretty good day. So yeah. Yeah, you missed it. Anyways. The monster, yeah. So thanks again for watching, everybody. If you're hanging out in the YouTube chat, feel free to join the Discord. The link is down below. Feel free to join the Patreon page. Someone else jumped into the drawing today, but they didn't draw, so that's fine. If you need to become a Patreon member, you're welcome to draw with us when we draw. I kind of took over the whole page there. Sorry about that, Jonas.
I will. I'll post these on the Discord and draw chat in the Discord. Yeah, we're just gonna keep on keeping on. Might play some D&D this week. We'll see how that's going. I need to double check with some people tomorrow, so I might have a better answer about that tomorrow. But we might do that. We might do some more drawing. Gonna try to get this video out this week, hopefully in the next day or two, and we'll go from there. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. Remember to keep your dice on the table. I hope you're staying safe and healthy out there. Yeah, keep on keeping on, people. Get those D&Ds.